Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Specstorm channel. Thank you for watching my last video. I know I look like a Neanderthal in that blue shirt, and my webcam was horrible, so I bought a new webcam. This is it. You're looking at it. This is the new face, the new upgraded tech. So I wasn't planning to make another show so quickly, but there's just so much stuff going on that I don't really have a choice. So that's the situation. And if I don't do these shows weekly, then I'm going to miss the chance to cover literally dozens of articles at this point with how much stuff is going on. So let's dive right in, shall we? So I've tried to organize this as best as I can. And we're just going to start with some of these temperature extremes. We have a marine heat wave in the UK, so this is going to kill a lot of animal life in the oceans. Of course, as you'll see in a minute, hopefully I tap those videos. The animal life in the ocean is already facing a pretty dire situation. So we have cold extremes in Brazil, killing a great number of cattle. Of course, Brazil is a huge meat producer, and this is just part of the continued multi-pronged attack on the food system and our access to meat, which is a highly nutrient dense and great food, especially in these times of uncertainty and climate where we're just not able to grow things in the places that we used to because of these extremes with weather. We have a snowstorm in Jasper, Alberta in June. Again, interesting global warming news there. 21 inches of rainfall in mid-June. So this is the Northern Hemisphere, June 19th. Today is June 24th. That's straddling the summer solstice, the literal warmest time of the year, where the sun is the strongest and at the highest direct angle. So this just makes no sense at all. Oregon ski resort closes operations due to summer snowstorm, also June 20th. So this sort of west side of North America also seeing these extremes. Surprise storm dumps June snow at Canadian ski resorts, at least 6 inches at Marmot Basin. Trend continuing. Now, for the opposite extreme, we have people dying in a heat wave in India. India, of course, is really getting it all with this stuff. Really can't catch a break, and we will see some more of that in a minute. This, of course, I covered just now. Now we're moving on to flooding. Again, there's so many stories. I can't spend too long on any one of them. I just want to run through them for you to give you guys an idea of what's going on, and I will jump into a little bit of detail with some of these stories, and then at the end, I always like to throw in a little bit of an explanation of what this technology is with regard to HAARP and atmospheric heaters and how it can be used, and some of this evidence and research that other people have done online, including on YouTube. So as you can see, Alberta, it's also Canada. So really North America getting hit very, very hard as well. Town of Whitecourt issues state of local emergency. Where have we heard that before? Need I beat a dead horse? Now we have a toxic algae outbreak in California. So dolphins and sea lions have washed up dead or sick in California. So this is a beach in Santa Barbara on Tuesday, June 20th. And again, I don't have time to go into this article in any detail. Here we have on June 22nd, thousands of dead fish washing ashore on a Thai beach. Clearly something's going on with the magnetics of the earth. These animals are confused. They're not able to navigate the way that they normally do, and they are ending up in all the wrong places. Just wanted to hit a quick piece of news with regard to Kamchatka in Russia, where you have the Klyuchevskaya Sopka volcano erupting. Really just, again, canary in the coal mine kind of thing, an indicator of geothermal instability. This could be totally natural. I'm not saying that everything happens that I report on this channel is some kind of dire, diabolical, HAARP laser beam type of thing. I mean, this is just happening. The Earth is clearly going through changes, and I am by no means negating that or arguing that. That's very clear. We're in a dire time, and the Earth is transforming and releasing and really venting a lot of energy. For those of you that don't know, the Kamchatka is in the far eastern part of Russia, fairly remote area. So Asia as well, seeing some of this instability. Now moving on, we have storms and cyclones. Now this was very interesting. This first article, cyclone remnant leaves Banaskantha villages flooded in Gujarat, India. So again, India, there's a ton of stories with India, but this one in particular, I just thought to actually sort of dig in a little bit and see, well, what is Gujarat, India? What takes place there? So interestingly enough, Gujarat is a farming region that grows millet, bajra, which is also called pearl millet, maize, which is corn, and rice and groundnut. Now, all of these are very hearty, again, calorie dense, nutrient dense, well, at least they're calorie dense, foods that you can store up. And these foods are great to have to feed a population. They're great to have in a food shortage. Also cotton, staple crop, wheat, mustard, cumin, and vegetables. Also sugarcane is grown in some distance. So these are staple crops really at the core of the food system. Of course, in the case of cotton, that's not a food, but it's used for so many other things. Of cottonseed oil and so many things, industrial uses, etc. And so this region is getting slammed and annihilated, in this case, a cyclone, which cyclones are a cyclonic type of storm, and this will become relevant as you see some of the stories coming up. And these are the types of things that can be manipulated using HARP technology. And of course, if someone, hypothetically, were trying to engineer a food shortage, then sending a cyclone to a farming region that grows corn, rice, millet, all staple crops that feed millions and millions of people, then this would be a great place to knock out. Moving right along, we have 500,000 people impacted by flooding in India's northeast. India, this is again Assam, Damdama village of Nalbari district, also June 22nd. Here we have Barbados, tropical storm Brett hits Eastern Caribbean. Now Barbados getting slammed, of course, most people know where that is. Here we have 13 people dead and 26 missing as flash floods and landslides wreak havoc in Nepal. Now, I've never heard of flooding in Nepal before. That's a fairly high ground area. But again, we see this sort of Indian subcontinent region really getting hit very hard with extreme storms, cyclones, flooding, etc. Here, back to North America, the United States, 80 people injured as golf ball-sized hail pelts crowd at Colorado's Red Rocks Amphitheater. You can see photos of people running and shielding their heads. Look at that hail. I mean, those are enormous. That's enormous. Imagine that falling from the sky onto your head. 80 to 90 people injured. Mostly cuts, but some victims with broken bones. So, I mean, yeah, this is crazy. Videos from the crowd show a chaotic scene as people were struck by the hail, with victims showing off multiple welts and bruises as hail piled up on the ground and torrential rains instantly turned parts of the stadium into raging rivers. So you go to a concert at Red Rocks and then apocalyptic hailstorm falls on your head and breaks your jaw or your finger, and then you get washed away in a river of hail and water. Sound like a night out? Here, back to Europe, we have summer flooding and hailstorms devastate northern Murcia in Spain. Again, hail, flooding, a little bit of a theme developing here. This is from Wednesday, June 21st, this photo and what they're talking about in this article. 41 liters of water were recorded in just 1 hour and 11.6 liters in just 10 minutes. I don't know what to say about that. That sounds insane to me. So we've covered this already. Here we have Germany. Again, we're still in Europe. Storms and heavy rain flood roads, block railway lines in Germany. Now, again, we're seeing the disruption of infrastructure. We're seeing the disruption of travel, and these states of emergency. All of this stuff is going to limit mobility of populations. It's going to block people from going places, and it's going to affect economic activity as well. Now we're on to probably the most of articles that I'm going to cover today are in this, and this is just blowing my mind. I'm not happy that any of this stuff is happening, but I mean, when I started my channel, if I knew there was going to be this many tornadoes and waterspouts, I would have been really, really happy, because this is exactly what I intended to cover on my channel. So here we have a tornado and waterspout spotted in the Pacific Northwest, again, North America. And this is not, prior to all of this craziness, this was not a frequent event. Waterspouts are a rare natural phenomenon when they're natural. So here we have Oregon and Washington. Tornado and waterspout were spotted on Sunday in Oregon and Washington. Now, this is from Monday, June 19th. Large waterspout seen from New Orleans Bridge. And that does not look like anything I want to be close to. This is obviously from somebody's car. Cyclone Biparjoy disrupts power, kills 2 in India and Pakistan. So again, we have more cyclones. Now, the reason that I group these together, cyclones and tornadoes, is to me, it's the same thing. A tornado is really just a drier cyclone, but they're both literally cyclones because a cyclone is a swirling column of air. A hurricane or a cyclone, tropical cyclone, is just a very wet, very large, very powerful cyclone, whereas a tornado is more of a narrow, focused, laser beam type of cycle, if you catch my drift. Large funnel forms near Miramar Beach, Florida. This is from Monday, June 19th. So Florida seeing some of the action as well. Rope tornado moves through southwest Wyoming. Again, that looks terrifying and not something I would ever want to be near. Tornado hits Pampanga, Philippines. Just keeping it rolling with the tornadoes here, really all around the world. And now we move on to a little bit of some of these more kind of intriguing curiosity stories. Again, strange behavior in orcas. Orcas off coast of Scotland this time, repeatedly ram yacht. Really interesting stuff. Now, I don't know why that was in there. Forgive me. Now we have a Sarasota man catching a waterspout on video off Siesta Key, Florida. This is Roberts Bay from Nora Patterson Bay Island Park. You can see this thin, wispy, ropey structure. As I said, a tornado, a waterspout is just a very thin cyclone. Now we have a waterspout in the Gulf of Mexico, filmed from Sanibel Island, Florida. So again, this region clearly seeing a lot of activity, a lot of energy that is allowing these cyclones to spin up, waterspouts, etc., and form and reach ground level. That takes a lot of energy. Twin tornadoes tear through Colorado fields. So really North America is seeing the brunt of the tornado action clearly, and that is a place where tornadoes, a place that is conducive to the formation of tornadoes based on the topography and the climate. Tornadoes tear through northern Texas town, killing 3 people and causing widespread damage. You can see some photos here. This is Matador, Texas. And the storms also produce softball-sized hail and wind gusts topping 100 miles per hour. Covered that already. And now let's take a look at one final thing, shall we? I know people are always asking, well, how are they doing this? Question of why they would do this is something that is far too far-reaching and complex to try to dive into in a show like this, certainly in one episode, perhaps a multi-part series. I don't know if I have the wherewithal or the fortitude to do that, and so I just stick to my guns here. You can see HARP can be used to suppress cyclones. This is from Geoengineering Watch. So that is something you can, if you suppress it in one place, then over here we have an article from montauk.net just listing some of the other facilities. HARP is not alone. Mu radar is a 1 megawatt atmospheric heater in Japan. Arecibo Observatory is a 2 megawatt facility in Puerto Rico. Now, this is very close to the Gulf of Mexico. One could argue that it's right there. So Florida, Gulf of Mexico, Texas would be just a hop, skip, and a jump for this facility. We have Hippus, which is a 70 megawatt facility east of Fairbanks, Alaska. So this is why I say HARP is old tech, because I mean 70 megawatts, that's unbelievable. Sura is a 190 megawatt facility in central Russia. And IceGat is a 1 gigawatt facility in Tromsø, Norway. I would imagine there would be no limit to something you could do with a facility like that. Now, this is from American Media Group News. The article is called Playing God. HARP, chemtrails, atmospheric warming, weapons used to produce earthquakes, tsunami, volcano eruption, global warming, lightning, cyclones, tornado, floods, drought, megastorms, etc., etc. Let's just take a quick look at this article. I haven't even read this yet. This is just some stuff I pulled up. I wanted to end the episode with a little bit of technical talk for those who are curious. Dr. Michio Kaku, everyone's favorite TV physicist, admitted that HARP electromagnetic waves can be used to stimulate geophysical events such as can modify the weather, earthquakes, climate change, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, and the like. Dr. Kaku admitted that man-made hurricanes have been the result of government weather modification program in which the skies were sprayed with nanoparticles in storms and then activated through the use of lasers. You can see a photo of one of these arrays facilities. The idea behind weather control is simple. When you think about it simply, when you see and experience a strong thunderstorm with a lot of lightning and thunder, what fact about the storm strikes you the most? Are you not impressed by the powerful display of energy that you witness? Energy is the primary ingredient behind nature's storms. Therefore, you must believe that just perhaps if energy is the most dominant outward factor in all kinds of storms, then energy might be the key factor in creating such storms in the first place. So you ask, how much energy is required to create and then direct storms? The answer to that question depends upon many factors, but let us tell you how much capability has been built into the newly created power transmission station in remote Alaska. These power transmission towers are not your typical towers, as they are designed to generate power in such a way that it is beamed up into the ionosphere in tremendous quantities. Quote, the $30 million Pentagon project, euphemistically named HARP, is made to beam more than 1.7 gigawatts of radiated power into the ionosphere, the electrically charged layer above Earth's atmosphere. Put simply, the apparatus is a reversal of a radio telescope, just transmitting instead of receiving. It will, quote, boil the upper atmosphere. After heating and disturbing the ionosphere, the radiations will bounce back onto the Earth in the form of long waves, which penetrate our bodies, the ground, and the oceans. This is a quote from Dr. Begik. This invention provides the ability to put unprecedented amounts of power in the Earth's atmosphere at strategic locations and to maintain the power injection level, particularly if random pulsing is employed in a manner far more precise and better controlled than heretofore accomplished by the prior art. The goal is to learn how to manipulate the ionosphere on a more grand scale than the Soviet Union could do with its similar facilities. America not the only one with this technology. HARP would be the largest ionospheric heater in the world, located in a latitude most conducive to putting Eastland's invention into practice. So I could read more of this article, but I think that really kind of gets the message across. And then there is one other thing that was pretty interesting. Again, I haven't looked at these yet, so please pardon my lack of preparedness. Now you can see these straight lines. This is just photos of geoengineering and just weird stuff. And of course, that's obviously CGI. So where is Hurricane Isaac exactly 7 years after Hurricane Katrina? Here we go. This individual on YouTube is showing that Cyclone Nargis in Myanmar and the Sichuan earthquake, this was a long time ago. He draws a straight line from HARP to these other disasters. It's a straight line, as if you were beaming something, then you could achieve multiple disasters. Sichuan earthquake hit China on May 12th, 2008. Only 9 days separated the two disasters that killed over 100,000 people. Now, the other one is this storm that was in Myanmar. Coincidentally, the HARP facility, which is located in Alaska, can actually perform a perfect straight line with the two locations on Google Earth. You can see, zooming out to show this, HARP over here, China and Myanmar down here. So I hope this could offer a little bit of insight into exactly how this works, because I know we live in a materialist society, we live in a scientific society, and people want to understand. That's the main thing that I get. How does this work? Other than why would they do this? How does this work? That's ridiculous. Well, what are you saying? Well, this is what I'm saying. It's a straight line from this facility that's injecting unimaginable amounts of energy into Earth's atmosphere and causing things that physicists are admitting can be caused, like earthquakes, volcanoes, storms, and everything else. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I love you all. Please be safe. Have some fun. Try to laugh a little bit, and go meet some real people in real life and enjoy your life, because things are getting crazy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Just kidding. There are far too many things going on for me to be able to post this episode without adding a follow-up. Not to mention, I had some technical difficulties where the file was not being published properly by my video editing software. And while I was waiting for that, there were so many new stories that came up that I had to include them. So let's make this quick without further ado. To follow with the trend of tornadoes, we have tornado in Martin County and Indiana. This was an extremely destructive tornado. You can see this article doesn't include, but I've seen tons of different photos. For some reason, they're not loading here, of great deal of destruction. This was a massive tornado, and it leveled a lot of material. I can't go into all the details because there's just so much stuff going on. So we're going to have to move on. We have flooding in Serbia. Again, agricultural areas being targeted. State of emergency. See these same buzzwords over and over again. Flooding, state of emergency. Flooding, state of emergency. 56 cities and municipalities in Serbia declaring a state of emergency. Further flooding is expected. Continued heavy rainfall. Now, let's move on. We have Himachal Pradesh in India. Flash floods, 6 people dead. India just started their monsoon season. The lightning alarm is going off outside my house as I record this. And so India really, I mean, just cannot catch a break. India is getting hit by just about everything. The monsoon has brought huge amounts of lightning deaths and, of course, massive flooding, water rescues, etc. We've got flooding in Mexico, in Chiapas, Tuxtla Gutierrez. 150 millimeters of rain in 24 hours triggered severe flooding in the city. Roads were swamped with floodwater up to 1 meter deep in some areas, with dozens of homes inundated. So you can see catastrophic flooding in Mexico. Romania, we have floods as well. You can see some of the pictures of the aftermath here. That is pretty severe flooding to snarl to vehicles. I mean, that's just a pile of twisted metal. Let's maybe play this video here.
Romania, the 25th of June 2023.
So you can see, I'm not going to play the whole video, really just the same scene that we've seen on this channel replaying over and over and over again of vehicles submerged, roads turning into rivers, and catastrophic damage to both homes and infrastructure. Moving on, we have a tornado-like funnel cloud spotted over the airport in Dublin. So this is Ireland. And also, the same day, we had a tornado-like funnel cloud spotted over in Cork County, Ireland. So really, these twisters are happening all over the world. It really doesn't seem to discriminate very much. And this is unheard of for this number of water spouts, funnel clouds, and tornadoes to be occurring all over the world all at the same time, especially in June. Normally, spring is when you have these extreme storms. This is very, very far out of the normal zone. Kosovo, deadly floods, 2 inches of rain in 1 hour, June 24th. Ghana, deadly floods strike in southern regions. Same picture, people up to their knees in water, vehicles not able to move. Floods and rains leave at least 2 dead in Chile, 419 homeless, 1,002 sheltered, and 2,759 people isolated. So with the world financial system where it is, this is going to be, the devastation from this will be magnified so much because people are already being stretched so thin. And this is really going to bring it to a breaking point, especially for people in the developing world. This is again from India, first hour of the monsoon, and you see roads turning into rivers and people wading through water. In China, South China province is told to brace for flooding as 16 rivers surpass warning lines. I think that's about all we've got. Oh, there's one more thing. I really wanted to hit this Texas heat wave here. This is from Cron. So today is Monday, so this article was prognosing for today. Houston area heat index values should soar past 113 degrees. And they said extreme record-breaking energy demand is expected. Monday's extreme heat will strain the Texas power grid, with ERCOT predicting record energy demand during the hottest afternoon and evening hours on Tuesday. As of Monday morning around 10:30 a.m., the agency is predicting demand will peak above 8,200 megawatts. This figure would shatter the all-time record of 80,038 megawatts set July 20th last year. So as far as the energy grid infrastructure, this is going to be a major blow, and I suspect we will see much, much more of this in the coming weeks and months continue to roll in, and the weather extremes continue to strain both the energy grid and the infrastructure and people's ability to recover from these extreme disasters. Once again, thank you for joining me on Specstorm channel. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you again next time.